It's such a nice experience for me. I will give it another minute to go, waiting for more people to join us. Happy to have you with us, Marco as well, Martina as well. It's very exciting to see you guys. Some of you I know from LinkedIn. Some of you I've heard by phone sometimes, right? I shared some stuff with you, so I'm excited to have you here. So actually, instead of starting, so I'll start, and whoever comes into the call a little bit later, I'll try to welcome them. Actually, I wanted to start with a little quiz, a very simple one if you want to play with me just a little bit, because I want to assess the situation and know how to run the conversation. So are you okay, guys, if I do a little quiz and I just share with you a link in the chat box? Is a Mentimeter quiz. I love Mentimeter, a very simple tool to run virtual quiz with audiences. And you will access a link where you can vote. And the question is very simple. You have the link on your chat box. The question is very simple. How many of you know about the engagement pods, what they are, how they can be used? And you can vote. It's either yes or no. And what I will share on my screen is the link to live results, so you can actually see the results of the entire group. I'm still waiting for some more people to join. All right, so 4 people voted already. Lots of people in the room that they know what engagement pods are, which is quite nice. Okay, let me refresh and see if everybody answered. Okay, so there's 1 that don't know and 4 yes. Well, that's great. I will run the conversation based on this insight. Thank you so much for participating to this little quiz. It's a good answer. I can't wait to assess what you actually know about the engagement pods. But I will have a conversation with you later, and I will allow you to ask questions. So what I really want to show you today, so the agenda of today's conversation, can you guys see my screen? Can you give me a thumbs up if you see my screen? All right. So what I want to share with you today, the simple agenda of the conversation is, I want to share with you about these engagement pods and why they are great and how they can be used. I will give you a very clear strategy on how to use them for sales and lead generation. Pay attention, it's sales and lead generation. And then, as we have some members within this call, I will give them the opportunity to share their experience. And before that, we will have a Q&A. So I highly recommend you ask me questions about the explained impact on the engagement pod and the strategy that I will explain. So because you have to know about me, guys, it's not a monologue. I always run these events because I like to give you implementable strategies, tips, tricks, an action plan, so then you are able to make it valuable for yourself. Okay, so ask me questions on how to implement the strategy. All right, so for those of you that don't know about engagement pods are made up of it's a group of individuals, or in this case LinkedIn members, who have created a pod or a group to help each other generate engagement on LinkedIn. The algorithm is pretty heavy on us lately, and so we need to beat the algorithm somehow. And so the engagement pod is a solution to that. When one member puts up on LinkedIn a post, the group will comment, will share, will engage with the post, and this post will have a higher reach. This needs to happen in the first hour, up to 2 hours max of the posting on LinkedIn. Okay, the aim of this action is to build engagement on the members' post, so the post itself will appear at the top of people's feed when they open LinkedIn. So the impact of LinkedIn engagement pod is in the reach first. I remember sharing these exact screenshots with Paulina once when we were discussing about the engagement pods and what kind of impact they can have. Perhaps with some of you, I shared already these results, okay? So LinkedIn continues to notice and push highly engaged posts to the top of the algorithm. And by engaging with pods, you are giving your content that initial boost of engagement that it needs to get noticed. If you're a business owner or a person looking to promote your brand, to increase awareness, to generate sales, to generate leads through eyeballs and numbers, social media, I think pods are great. I will not say that pods are always a strategic choice. You need to be careful with using a pod. You need to use it with value. But I think it's highly effective for visibility and then for sales and lead generation. And I'll share with you the strategy. But in this case, take a look at these posts. Now, you can see that they have different languages, but on one post, on the one on the left, I did not use the pod engagement. On the one on the right, I used the engagement of the pod. And you can see how it doubles on engagement, 12 toward 28. You can see here the numbers. It doubles in comments, and it's almost 5 times more in views. Okay, so that is the real impact of an engagement pod, is in views. It beats the algorithm in terms of visibility. So if you are looking at engagement pods from a sales and lead generation point, you've got to question the pod you belong to. So this is the very first thing I highly recommend you do. For example, if you are a B2B person wanting to generate leads from LinkedIn, and you are in a pod where there might be finance people, insurance people, or people who are in unrelated industries, then you are going to start questioning your place in the pod, right? So don't just choose a pod. You have to be strategic with your pod. In my upcoming manual on how to get more clients on LinkedIn, when helping you design your lead avatar, I ask you, where is your target audience? Where do they live? Where are they engaging? Because the pod that you want to belong to needs to reach your target audience, where they live, and the channel that they are in, needs to be on the channel that they are engaging with. All right. So when the people
Ramona,
in your pod,
Ramona,
yes?
thank
Yes?
you for a wonderful introduction. Here is Fons.
Yes.
I'm known for my stupid questions, but one question is, what is a pod? I mean, why? Because I know podcasts, I know articles, I know slideshows. Is that all pod? Because I don't know if it would be a podcast or an article or, you know, even a little quiz. Are these all pods? I hope it's not too stupid for these enormous engaged people here, but
no,
could you
it's
say a bit
not.
more?
It's not. It's actually a quite clever question because the term itself is confusing. And I'm actually very happy that you asked that. Perhaps more of us are confusing a little bit the term just because the definition itself. But a pod is a group of people that starts a chat. It's like a WhatsApp group or a LinkedIn group where you come together with the understanding that you will support each other to create engagement. So it can be a chat on LinkedIn, it can be a chat on WhatsApp. It is pretty different of the pods in terms of podcasts or blog posts. These are more platforms where content is shared. In this case, the content is shared on LinkedIn, and the chat, which is the group, the pod itself, comes to support that content to be visible to more first degree, second degree, and third degree connections. Is it clear enough? Yes? Do you have other questions on pods, specifically on how they are created?
No, yeah, but we don't know where you're going yet, so perhaps you cover that. But yeah, it's another question. You see, here are real. I mean, here is a real amateur. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna explain a little bit more about how to create pods and how to use them, and especially with the strategy. And then I will stop at one point and I will answer more questions, okay? So my advice will be, if you decide to join a pod, be very strategic about contacting the members first, contacting the founder first, ask about the value of the pod, ask about the network reach, ask about the services that they are offering, because you don't want to be in competition. You don't want to have access to an industry or a target audience that is not adapted to your offerings, right? So be very strategic before joining. And then when you take your decision, when you join, understand how the pod works and leverage that understanding in order to make the most value for yourself, all right? So you have to think about your business goals and what value getting your content in front of those people will give you. And if you don't have a clear answer to the question of what is the value that I bring to the group and what is the value that the group brings to me, then don't join an engagement pod. Choose for another pod, all right? Or find or create your own. At this point, I think you all know me, but just very quickly, I will give you an introduction about who I am very, very quickly, because I always focus on content during these presentations. After being an executive in marketing and sales in the corporate world, working with global brands like Edel Green Life, BAT, Stefanel, Benetton, Continental, ICUNet, and many entrepreneurs in Europe and USA, I discovered that the real distinction in building successful businesses resides in the landscape of marketing and sales, and that the biggest innovation really is in marketing and the changing dynamics between marketing and sales. And so coming from that extensive background, I spent almost 20 years studying trends. I'm really passionate about analyzing where the market is going. And so following these trends, in 2019, I launched the LinkedIn Lead Machine, this platform that is a pit stop educational platform for you to build a fully operational, ready to perform online lead generation machine and a highly visible LinkedIn brand to attract conversion ready leads and potential buyers, no matter if you are a solopreneur or the founder, business owner of a company. You need to build visibility on social platforms in order to drive traffic and conversion. Okay, so what I want to share with you now is a social experiment that I ran last year. And again, just to show you the difference in between activating a pod and not activating it, all right? And I will give you the dynamics of this experiment and the results, and you can see again what is the difference in using this kind of feature tool. And then I will give you the strategy, all right? So last year I ran this 7-day poll on my LinkedIn profile entitled "To Pod or Not to Pod?" That is the question. So in the poll, which I created using LinkedIn poll feature, I asked individuals for their opinion on the use of LinkedIn pods. And I asked them, what do you think about LinkedIn pods, right? Because I intended to build up on this service, on this feature. I introduced my poll with the following statement. In your opinion, are LinkedIn pods cheating the system or amplifying a good idea? That was the question of the poll. And I gave them two very simple answers. LinkedIn pods are a cheat and LinkedIn pods are awesome. It's either one or the other. I really wanted to see what people think, okay? And before I reveal the results of the poll, I would like to reveal a secret, this social experiment, right? What had a secret. The goal of this poll was not to just hear my connections opinion on podding, although I thoroughly loved reading them all, because at the start of my funnel, of my digital funnel, there's an engagement pod, all right? But I did this social experiment with the intent of testing the effectiveness of pods on post engagement and reach. I am big on testing my ideas. And only after I test them for a long time, I give them a strategy to my audience or my clients, right? And I'm guilty as well. I occasionally use a pod. I used to use a pod more often in the past, but now I have different offerings and I use the pod for strategic offerings because I know the impact it has on my services. So I occasionally use a pod to amplify my post, and my pod is intimate, is very effective, is well built with connections, a handful of friends, colleagues, professionals that I admire, whose work and content I respect. And on average, the organic engagement on my posts receive, when I don't pod, anywhere from 30 to 50 engagements, 5-10 comments, about 2,000 views. And I think that for some of you, the numbers will be pretty much the same, yeah? For this experiment, however, I went all in and posted not to just one, but 3 pods during the 30-minute period. And here's how it unrolled, all right? So day one, I created and published a poll on LinkedIn. I supported the poll with a post on my profile and 2 very neutral hashtags. I shared the link to the post on the 3 pods. I shared the post on about 3-4 LinkedIn groups, and I shared the link with 5 friends outside. Okay, so I did some specific steps. So here's the screenshot of the first part of the results, which is the engagement. These are insights that LinkedIn itself provides you. The engagement was fine, but not earth-shattering. I mean, I generated 133 votes, 35 reactions, and 80 comments. And so, as you can see from the screenshot, there are a variety of enterprises in some marketing or sales capacity, some location. So 35 reactions and 80 comments using 3 pods in 30 minutes and some outside connections, all right? Poll, post, and reaction results followed the same pattern, with day one of the poll providing the highest level of engagement. compared to the other pods. That's the algorithm. That's how the algorithm works. It pushes on the first day, especially if you have on the high engagement, and then it tends to decrease. Yeah. And the thing that really shocked me, and again, we go back on the impact of this amazing activity, on this amazing strategy, is in the views. All right. So I generated 6 times more reach than a no pod post, garnering over 12K in reach. Right, guys? Again, 6 times more. So it seems like you have almost twice engagement and comments, and almost 5 to 6 times more reach. Now, this is a hell of a strategy to beat the algorithm, because organically, without this kind of support, you have a very low reach, especially since May. In May, the algorithm was changed again, and the engagement right now is really, really low, but also the views on posts is really, really low. So the engagement pod, using this kind of groups to boost your visibility, is highly effective. All right. So what I will do, I will also give you the strategy, and then I will stop to talk about your situation, questions, and give you more understanding on this. And then I will continue the agenda for the day, which will be to introduce some members of our engagement pod to give you their own experience, like raw, very natural experience on how they belonged to an engagement pod, and how they are using this in terms of visibility and lead generation. All right, so the strategy, and please just stop me if you want to have more details. Yeah, let's create from here on a conversation. The strategy is really, really simple. This sales and lead generation strategy helps you to enroll the top 3% right away, no use making them through long and complex funnels or indoctrination sequences. As I said, is a sales first and lead generation then strategy. Okay, it brings the remaining 7% of ideal buyers through a short automation sequence and a long-term nurture strategy, and build a massive leads list of potential prospects to grow, that grows every single day. Okay, you have to build this at the foundation. So I would not start a campaign using pods if I would not have built this first. All right, so this is the strategy. Is a simple 2-step funnel, incredibly effective. Are you guys familiar with funnels, digital funnels and lead magnets, and how this should work? Yes, Paulina, yes, Alina, yes, Summer. What about you guys? Fons, Martin, Sophia, Dorothy, are you familiar with the funnels? Yeah, all right. No, everybody's okay.
Not really, yes, not really, Ramona. Yeah, I put off my video because you froze. So sorry for that. But no, I don't know. And but don't lose your time, because the others know, unless you can do it in 30 seconds.
I am perfect on time with my presentation, because this is the last slide, and then we have a highly interactive conversation, right? Because my purpose is to make you understand. So let me give you a very simple explanation on what is a digital funnel. A digital funnel is a path that you build for your digital members, users, potential customers. And it answers a very simple question: what's next? So I usually build a funnel starting with an entry offer, could be a free valuable resource, and then a very low priced offer, but with very high value. And then I guide these members, these users, throughout the next step, and I answer the question, what's next? What can I offer next that will help them solve problems, that will help them reach goals, that will help them answer some questions that they have? So in my case, for the LinkedIn lead machine funnel, my digital funnel starts usually with a very interactive and high value event. Then I have a high value resource, a PDF, a guide, a video that helps my audience to solve some sort of issue or to achieve a goal. And then I have a low level, an entry level, priced like a no-brainer to the buying journey. Okay, so people buy easily that first offer, and they start to trust me, to like me, and to want more for me. So this is how digitally you must construct your funnels digitally. This is the simple explanation. Was I clear enough?
Yes, for me, yes. Thank you, Ramona. And
from what I observe, Fons, in the call we have other experts in building online communication sequences, digitalization. So one of my recommendations during these events is always get in touch with the people in the call during the meeting present here, because we have other experts joining us that they can guide you through the understanding on how a digital funnel can be built. All right, one of those members is Paulina, for example. She excels in building communication sequences and the strategy around how to guide people throughout this funnel. We also have the accountable marketing expert, the company in the Netherlands that also excel in this kind of strategies. I hope I get it right. Yes, I get it right. I think so. Anyway, yeah, anyway, so, or get in touch with me, because I will guide you through the entire process. So when we post and we use the pod, we will have more engagement. All right, so the engagement will be from our first degree connections, second degree connections, and third degree connections, because we tap into the networks of the members inside the engagement pod, and it will be organic. It will be pushed a little bit because they will comment, but it will be organic based on the algorithm itself. So for those that comment and engage with my post that are not yet my clients or my leads, I created a strategy. So what I do, I direct message them, not immediately. What I will do immediately, I will research them a little bit. I will go on their profile and I will engage with their content. I will congratulate them on something that they did, or a post that was highly valuable. And then I will connect with them if they are second degree connection and third degree connection. And at one point, 2-3 days after, I will send them a direct message with an ungated PDF of value. Ungated means that is not requiring email or the name. You have a transition during the current year. During last year it started, where users are so educated, they don't buy in anymore into these gated magnets. Yeah, they want some value upfront, and only after that they will trust you and they will buy you from you. So you need to build a resource of value that you give for free to your audience, and you don't ask the email or the name yet. Okay, And inside that high value resource, which is ungated, you place an offer to an entry-level service, which is presented on a sales page, okay? And if possible, you can place some links to track the activity on that sales page, or you build these sequences. So if they buy the service immediately, and when I talk about an entry level service, is something that goes $4.99 or $14.99 max to $100. That's an entry level offering, okay, in digital marketing. And if they buy it immediately because they've converted, they've trusted you because of the very high value resource. Like in my case, sometimes I give a book for free. Sometimes I give an entire ebook on how to strategically build a LinkedIn lead generation strategy system from A to Z. So it's a very high value offer. So it's normal that they will want to buy your entry, right? So if they buy your entry, you put them into your customer relationship management. Throughout the buying process, you collected some data, and I recommend you get strategic on the data that you collect, and you put them through a simple sequence to nurture and start this sequence by talk about your story, talk about the transformation that you can help them with, talk about the offerings that you have, right? So don't be too salesy throughout this nurturing sequence. Start selling after you nurture them already throughout some days, okay? 1 week, 2 weeks. I highly recommend you start by sharing your story and then sharing the transformation, some cases, okay? If they did not buy, you put them through a list that can be hosted on Sales Navigator. We have some advanced formulas that we can use in order to analyze their behavior, in order to put them through sequences. Or if you don't use Sales Navigator, the paid formula, you can use an Excel sheet and build some scripts that you can use throughout the touch points. So let's assume that you have 3 touch points. I highly recommend you have some scripts already. After they received your PDF of value, you check if they bought your initial offer. If they didn't, you put them on an Excel sheet and you start sending them some messages from time to time. Don't be pushy, don't be salesy, try to build a relationship, all right? So this is for now the strategy, and I'm going to step just I'm going to stop just for 1 minute to, well, also 5 minutes, I would say, for questions, all right? And then I will introduce you to members and their experiences, all right? Can you guys unmute yourself and share your experience, ask me questions? Yeah?
I have a question, Ramona.
Yes.
Okay, let's say, for example, you talked about the algorithm changed in May, and there's few changes that happened since May until now. So did you think that the algorithm will notice that, for example, the same group of people are commenting and reacting to your posts, and that will not increase or might decrease? What do you think about that?
Yeah, so there is an analysis about about the fact that the algorithm itself somehow identifies the uses of pods, okay? And that's the reason why I recommend you strategically choose when to share your content through a pod. But it is not confirmed yet that just because you are using a pod, your visibility will decrease. It really depends on the value of your content.
Okay.
It's not said that there is an AI strategy. LinkedIn uses an AI machine to detect when you use certain strategies. Like, for example, you put outside a post that says, we did an analysis and we discovered XYZ. If you want to receive my guide or my results under the form of a PDF, comment and I will send it to you. LinkedIn is very good at detecting that, and you have no visibility. But for the pods, there's no action yet, direct action yet on decreasing the algorithm, because the purpose of the platform itself is to give visibility to high value content.
Yeah.
All right. So if you have a pod and you create incredibly value content and the pod acts on your value content, LinkedIn has the interest of pushing it. It doesn't decrease the reach, okay? Now, the algorithm changed and you will see a decrease anyway because of the changes of the algorithm, but not specifically because of the pod engagement, okay? Yeah. So there's one thing that I want to share with you, because I saw a question in the chat, okay? I saw how big was your pod, and does the number of pod members matter? So we started small. When I started our LinkedIn engagement pod, we started with 16 members because I run a group program for LinkedIn lead generation with 16 companies from the Netherlands and UK and the USA. And I wanted to continue to show them how to create content on LinkedIn, and I put them all on a chat on LinkedIn. So it started simple like that. And once we started to use that, combine it with very great content, we started to see amazing results. I was aware of the pod since 2015 because I am part of some of them on LinkedIn, but I never used it for my own clients. And when I started to see these amazing results and how we were able not only to give visibility, but to generate leads, then I decided to open the group to a first round of new members. And this happened 1 year after I opened the group. And so now we are almost 23, 20, 25 within the group. Now, what you need to understand about these groups is that some members are very active, some others are not active, some will be occasionally active, so they have launches, they have promotions, they have achievements that they want to promote, so they are active maybe seasonal on some seasons or on some months, or it really depends. Some of them, they change from platform to platform, so sometimes they go on Facebook and do massive promotion, they come back to LinkedIn and do massive promotion. It's really depending on that. So a healthy group should have at least, in my opinion, from 40 to 50 members inside. Why? Because we solve this issue of the seasonality, let's call it. So from so we need to have always from 15 to 20 members active. So we know that if 20 members are active and comment on our post on the first hour and we answer back, we create already 40 to 45 comments and reactions to our post. So that is a high engagement for LinkedIn, and we can expand the reach and visibility because LinkedIn itself will push it. All right. So that is the answer to this question. Guys, do you have other questions about the engagement circle? Oh, I see that you shared the link to the engagement circle. That is great. Thank you so much for doing that. So me give you some details on our engagement circle before I give the I share the stage with Paulina, Alina, and Samar, which are members of our group, so they can share their experience. Okay, so our engagement pod, we gave it a fancy name, which is engagement circle, because it's what it is. It's a circle of friends and members and professionals and business owners that, and we respect each other. So it's a closed circle that we use, first of all, for engagement. And of course, the lead generation is pretty natural when there's value on this kind of closed group, yes, and has a close correlation to my target audience. And I work with the small, medium businesses in Nordic countries of Europe or the United States. We are opening now the group to more continents. And we strategically included within our group professionals that are not in competition and that can help the group itself to work on business development aspects, or we can partner with each other in order to work on bigger projects, or we make introduction, or we support with each other's activities, right? So it's a non-competitive model, and it's based on knowing each other. All right, so we are opening today the group to other professionals, and I have with me Alina, Samar, and Paulina that I will invite to share their experience. It's a community of extraordinary leaders. You can really learn a lot about every one of them. And I will start with Paulina, and I prepare just very simple questions for today to share with our members. So Paulina, please share who you are and what you do and with whom.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me here, Ramona. It's always a pleasure to join your event. So I'm Paulina Rasi, and officially my title is copywriter and communication strategist. And what it means is that my bread, butter, and passion is all the content that revolves around this engagement that we talked about. I work a lot on newsletters, on ebooks, different kind of freebies of writing them and creating the strategy behind them, as well as on blog articles, social media posts. And I always have that very strategic approach that Ramona tapped into as well. So it's not, I love writing. I'm a journalist by trade, and my career has always revolved around writing, but it's not only about the pleasure and passion of writing, but really creating content that serves your audience, your clients, and helps small and medium-sized businesses grow and reach their business goals. So for me, content always has that strategic role in business growth, in client satisfaction, whatever it is that you're focusing on. And I work a lot with small and medium-sized businesses, startups, solopreneurs. I like to call my clients businesses and projects with mighty missions. They are often small in size, but mighty in impact. And that's about me in a nutshell. I can share my contact info in the chat, and it would be a pleasure to connect on LinkedIn so we can start following each other's content.
Thanks for sharing, Paulina. And about the engagement circle, okay? Because I really want people to understand what's the experience from inside. And I want the good and the bad. I really want the raw version of it and what it means to be part of an engagement pod. Please share about your experience with the engagement circle and in which ways it is functional, both to your brand visibility and also lead generation and sales.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I've been a member of the circle for maybe a couple of years now, if I remember correctly, maybe even a little bit more. Time goes by so fast. And my experience is that, well, let's start with the good. It can really be a great way to amplify your reach, like you said earlier when you talked about your poll and how you set up the circle. It can be a great way to amplify, but you need to have that solid foundation first. So that quality content that, well, Ramona talks about a lot, and that's also my passion and the core of my expertise and core of my business and profession. You really need to have have that quality. You need to lead with quality. It's not cheating. It's not gimmicky that way when you really base it on having that quality content. But then on the other side, it's not a bad thing, but it's something to be conscious, really conscious of and aware of. You need to be willing to put in time and quality in your comments and your engagement as well. So it's really a two-way street. So it can really amplify your reach when you have quality content. But when you're commenting and supporting others, it needs to be quality there as well. So it doesn't work to just jump in and comment to everybody like, hey, great piece of content, good job, well done. Of course, sometimes you just drop in a quick comment and that's all that's needed. But it's really about putting, well, the way I see it and the way I've seen the results as well, is to put in the time and effort in those comments as well, reading other people's posts, asking them questions, sharing insightful stories and insightful comments as well, so that you can really get those insightful comments back. Because like you said earlier, it's not just having a pod, it's having a pod or a circle of like-minded people who have similar goals, similar audiences, and that's where the magic can really happen. So we come back to where you started from. You really need to have a strategy, and you really need to have a strategy also to follow up on afterwards. So what do you do with that engagement? What do you do with that reach? But when you're really clear with the strategy, you're putting in quality content and you're putting in quality engagement, you will get great quality back. That's my experience.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I agree with the being careful about the time that you need to put in, as every strategy requires
exactly
planning also in terms of time, and it's a sales activity. Attention, posting on social media and following up and engagement with the pod is a sales activity, so needs to be included into your profit and loss when you plan your time as a sales activity, right? And you be very conscious about how much time you have available, and you can join a group only if you have some minutes during the day, 5 to 15 minutes, to engage with your group of members, to call them and to say, hey, what's your offering? And right.
Absolutely.
So
and being very clear also with the work. What is the goal? Because in content marketing, we often talk about the AIDA goals, the awareness, interest, desire, and action. And being very clear what part of the funnel you're actually trying to grow. Are you trying to grow awareness, you build brand awareness, or are you really trying to drive hard sales in with any particular action? So it's very, I don't say one is better than the other, but you need to know what you're looking for when you're engaged.
Absolutely. So I want to give 1 minute to questions. If you have questions for Paulina, or if you just want to share about your understanding until now, your insights up until now, just please do unmute yourself and ask questions, or please share your feedback.
Absolutely, with pleasure. And I dropped my contact info, my links in the comments, so it would be a pleasure to connect with those of you who we aren't connected yet. So we can also continue the discussion afterwards.
Perfect. Questions so far?
Hi everyone. This is Nelly.
Hi,
I have
Nelly.
a question for both Paulina and yourself, Ramona.
Yes.
At what point in the journey do you decide that you're going to send someone a DM? Because I find it a bit, sometimes it can feel a bit salesy. So how at what point do you decide? Is it after they've commented on your post for a long time, or can you just decide this is the person I want to talk to and send them a text? Or at what point do you exactly make that decision?
Yeah, I think, we have both maybe different strategies. So I will please share, Paulina, and then I will also share mine.
Absolutely. I usually send a connection request and kind of a, hi, what are you working on? And nice to have you in my network kind of message rather early. So to build my network, this comes a little bit to your goals as well. If you're in a sales phase, you have a campaign, you have a launch, you might want to do that a little bit earlier because you want to make those connections. But I send that kind of an easy, low entry point kind of thing rather easily. But then before I start really engaging and really kind of starting to drive those sales or trying to see if there is any potential there I usually wait for the relationship to be a little bit more established, because well, I think LinkedIn is getting sales there as well, and for I don't want to be too pushy, but I would I'd say it depends a little bit on, well, the phase where I am, the stage where I'm with my business, and then on the depth of a communication and the connection. But go ahead, Ramona, you probably have
agree.
sales.
Yeah, I agree with your strategy. The only thing that I would add, Nelly, is depend on the kind of content also, because I am strategic with my content. I create content both for brand visibility, and then I have lead generation content, sales content, okay, making an offer. So it really depends, because if I put out an offer, I act on the offering quite immediately. I ask a series of questions, and it works very well to state your intent, right? Because if they engage with a post, with a lead generation content, which is a pitch deck, which is a case study, right? So it's a lead generation, high value content. It means that they have a high interest. So be straightforward, state, I've seen that you engaged with my case study. What attracted your attention? And if there's an answer back, go directly into building the sales potential. All right, great. So thank you so much, Paulina. It was great to listen to you again and to get into communication strategy again. We have Samar. Samara, I have the same questions. Can you share about you first, and then share about your experience? Can you tell us who you work with, what do you provide in terms of services, and then about your experience with the engagement?
Sure. Thank you very much, Ramona. Thank you for this opportunity and for this meeting. My name is Summer, and I'm a strength-based career coach. I help people to grow and glow. I help them to twist their strengths into superpowers. My clients, new and mid-career people, call me to help them to understand how to use their strengths and to build their resumes. How to optimize their LinkedIn profiles, and I coach them to prepare them for their next job interview. I provide career coaching, life-changing insights and strategies to help them decide and define their values and strengths, so they can know how to use them to clarify and to lead their career shift, explore options, evaluate alternatives, and also make safe career decisions. So what I do, I help people to go and glow. I am a career coach.
And about the engagement circle, there's something very specific that I would like to ask you, and because I'm curious for my own, not only for the event itself. I've seen your results on your latest webinar. You have 300 and something subscribers, something like that, and I'm very, very curious about how you reach that kind of numbers, and if the engagement circle had some sort of impact on the result itself. Can you share a bit about that?
Yes, let me first talk about the impact of the engagement circle on me personally and my business, and then talk about the event and how I was able to collect that number, which is 355 participants registration to that event. In fact, we as humans, we love to be connected with others, and this helps us to advance, boost, and construct our life and work. The idea is that I want just imagine that we are a part of community, and not only to help you advance, connect, and boost, but also to develop every aspect of this in your life and your career. This is what happened to me since I joined this wonderful engagement circle, Ramona. I have been I have become more knowledgeable about LinkedIn and its wonders. And this is the key, in fact, to my event, and how I was able to collect more than 300 registration. My post starts to reach more people. I started to have more clients, and most importantly, become more aware of what I can deliver and offer to my clients. So this is what the engagement circle did to me. One of the advices that I followed from being with this community and being with following you and how to use LinkedIn as lead generator is that to keep commenting and adding quality, like Paulina said, quality comments, not only yes, well done, and no, it's a quality comments that engage me with many people in my community, where they also referred people to me and shared my post, commented and shared my post, that lead more people and more registration to my post. Really, really thank you. And the continuous support and the great feedback, the powerful knowledge that I got through this community really helped me to widen and make my connection with LinkedIn, specifically with LinkedIn, better, more beneficial for me and for my business. And that added more knowledge to me. Really, I'm grateful and sincerely thankful for this awesome group. Forward together.
Thank you so much. Not only I see also Paulina and Alina being very grateful, because we all together did achieve this result somehow, right? Just to share a couple of things. Samar serves some countries, and she posts in different languages sometimes. She posts at different hours sometimes based on her target audience. And she leveraged anyway the engagement circle to reach these other countries. Yeah, so it's not highly focused on the Netherlands and the United States, but her main country is Libya at the moment.
Yes,
with a
and
strategic
the Middle East,
offering.
the Arabic speakers as well as the English speakers.
Yes, big network. She has a big network. All right, thank you so much for sharing. We still have 2 minutes, and I really want to listen also to Alina's story, because Alina came to the engagement circle with 12,000 connections in her network. So she did not need to leverage any engagement circle, but she had amazing results because she has also a very huge presence on another social channel, which is Facebook, and she somehow built a bridge between these two channels, and she has an incredible career. I'm so proud of having inside the circle. Alina, can you share a little bit about you? And then if you want, guys, you can stay some minutes with us if you have further questions, or if you want to listen about the engagement circle itself and how we use it.
Thank
Alina.
you. Thank you, Ramona. Yes, indeed, I came with a network, unexploited network of about 11,000 connections from my period 13 years as an executive manager, as a managing director for a very big company of ship design, and prior 10 years in professional procurement, consultancy, and so on. So I am now working as executive coach, coaching middle managers and senior managers in transition towards, their next career level, or in transitioning out, or making this very important change of their professional identity, to say so. And one thing I noticed is they are present, but they will never comment. And
that's true.
It's it's a matter of a certain vulnerabilities they feel, whether they would leave a like or a share or something, and I get real comments and sharing only from my former clients. That is very interesting. And also from our circle here. And I've noticed in May, indeed, a significant drop. Also, in one of my testing of sharing posts without, picture to see what is happening. And however, now is back on track. So being part of this circle has been a very interesting experience. Also because I also grew. I entered from scratch. I didn't know anything about digital marketing. When I reached 50s, I said I want a total different life. And we moved country, we moved, everything. I learned a new language. And I said, okay, I do what I love to do, working with managers and growing them, working with the mindset. And why not? I need to prove myself on me. And in this context, I realized that I can leverage my LinkedIn network I already had. And in this context, I contacted Ramona. I kind of stalked Ramona over internet for quite many months, and participating on all her, events, trainings, when she shared a lot very professionally. And now it's how the circle worked. I learned a lot about digital marketing. I learned a lot from the funnel products our members are using, how they are structuring their funnels. I also buy their services because now I trust completely. While learning from them, I trust completely. I also managed to build this relationship and to learn, okay, first it's an investment of time, but I learned to see their post from the perspective of, okay, what I can say, what I can write from the mindset point of view. And every time
That is one trick, right? Because some people find it time consuming because, oh, I need to comment on your post which talks about XYZ. Not taking into account that post gives the opportunity to your expertise to be highlighted, to show up. So if I'm coming as a sales strategist and I comment on Paulina, which is communication, I can add value from my perspective.
yeah.
I can add on top of that. So I showcase myself engaging with Paulina's content. So that's the real power of the engagement circle, because we leverage each other's content. That's one really important thing that people really don't grasp about engagement pods.
And then I also learned how to engage with other people when I have nothing to say. Or when I feel I don't have nothing to say, because as a background, I am a shipbuilding engineer and I am very direct. And yes, I would DM everyone immediately. I don't mind DM, people DM me whenever I feel it's of interest, I say, yes, let's see it. Whenever I feel it's off, I say, sorry, it's off. I don't feel like I belong here. So
Yeah.
I learned to transform this road into a process and to accommodate within my ways, my own style. Let me see, because I put here, I also felt a lot encouraged. Just seeing the, the others' perspectives led me to think, oh, I have never thought about it. Why that was possible, to have never thought about it. And it just increased a lot my mind map about things and about relationships and about how can I add and bring value to my own customers. Who usually are very direct, are very, are this type of people.
Alina, I'm sorry to interrupt this. I'm becoming very aware of the time. I will stay and I will share a lot more because I know that is insightful for me as well. But I'm aware of the time, and I know that Paulina has a meeting, and I'm pretty sure that all the people in the call. So what I would like to do, I would like to continue the conversation. We have many events coming up. The engagement circle works in a certain way that I will share with you guys. I will like to continue because I think it's an incredible, valuable, very supportive tool, and I want to promote this. And I will have other members sharing their stories. I would love to learn more about you, Fons, Martin, and Derek, and all the people in the call. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stop if you have questions, but I just want to release everyone. So you don't have to, but if you want to stay and ask me more questions, I will be happy to stay. Paulina, thank you so much for being here. Alina as well, Samara as well. Questions? No? We keep in touch, absolutely.
Too many questions. But we'll keep in touch. It's good to connect with your little network as well. And Ramona, thank you so much, because we are really, as you have noticed, with the stupidity of my questions in the very beginning. But we have an enormous amount of potential, a bit like Alina. We have enough followers, but how to activate them, but we'll be in contact. And I just wanted to thank you personally for wonderful input. And Maarten, my colleague, I'm sure he's in agreement because he will make things work.
I fully agree.
Maarten,
Yes,
so
yes, Fons. Yeah, thank you very much. All. Yeah, yeah.
Love your color shirt.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you. I wish you a nice day, a nice continuation of your day, and I'll see you very soon. Take care of you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.